Lupin has been down around 7%. The shares were down as much as 11% earlier. Now, it seems that the company's Mandideep unit was inspected by the US FDA in February, and Form 483 letters have been issued for certain facilities. Let's get in Ekta to understand what's going on here. Ekta, no end to the woes in sight as far as the FDA is concerned and Indian pharma companies. But here there seem to be contrarian views between different brokerages, right?
Well, I'll start with IIFL, which in fact resulted in the stock declining over 10% on an intraday basis. Now, basically what they came out with in terms of a report was that the Mandideep unit of Lupin was inspected between the 8th of Feb as well as the 19th of Feb, which is basically the API as well as the formulation units, which were both given 483. So that means 2 observations for the API unit and 2 observations for the formulation unit. Now, according to IIFL, the read of these observations were in fact serious in nature, and Lupin could take anywhere around 18 odd months to complete the remediation measures at Mandideep. Remember that in terms of impact, Mandideep is the second largest revenue contributor to the US business after Goa. Remember that in March itself, the Lupin had received Form 483 observations, or around 9 observations for its Goa facility. Now, the direct and the indirect contribution from this plant itself could top around $200 million. The cephalosporin API is quite a big chunk in terms of their revenue from this particular facility. However, it's an older facility, and hence newer approvals or newer filings are not as many from this particular facility. So with Goa and Mandideep, the entire US business for Lupin, in fact, is under regulatory scrutiny. So that was basically what IIFL came out with. Now, what led to the stock recovery was that Morgan Stanley came out with what was a report which indicated that the observations were more benign than what IIFL thought the observations were. So Morgan Stanley's report is largely based on a conversation which they've had with the management, where according to the Lupin management, the FDA has classified all 4 observations as voluntary action initiated or indicated. So what that means is that the US FDA comes, observes your plants, gives you the observations, but they won't come back for a re-inspection. Lupin will solve the observations and get back to the US FDA, and hence that is basically the company undertaking those the measures in order to resolve the observations which were given, and hence that is a VAI, or a voluntary action indicated, as opposed to an official action indicated, where the US FDA would come back for a re-inspection or even issue a warning letter. So because it's a VAI, is generally benign and does not escalate into a warning letter like an official action indicated or initiated status on the plant. So that's the reason why the stock has recovered from the day's low, but nonetheless still under pressure, because remember that the Goa facility has received observations, and since that happened, the stock has lost around 15% any which way.
All right, thanks so much, Ekta. Yes, we seem to have a casualty day when it comes to the US FDA. It was Natco Pharma yesterday, and today it's Lupin in the news. We'll take